As Your Heart Betrays You, Part 35. A Miraculous Ladybug Fanfiction written and narrated by Mira, with artwork for the opening and thumbnail image by EvenArtAtom on Instagram and Tumblr. As always, both the artist and the prior parts will be listed in the description box. If you're still listening, you know the drill. Give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment to support the YouTube algorithm. If you don't know what to comment, put button room. Please enjoy As Your Heart Betrays You, Part 35. Adrien Agreste, 23 years old, in the workroom of his studio. Despite his best efforts, Adrien knew he came off as distracted for the remainder of the evening. His heart drummed too loud in his chest, and the skin on his forearms itched tight like a sunburn. If Marinette noticed the difference in attitude, she didn't say anything about it. Adrien didn't know what he'd prefer, either, Marinette noticing his masking or not. At least he was able to use the excuse of the second round of delivery orders to explain his earlier absence. "And fries?" she asked, stuffing the last arm of her bear. "I figured buttons would work." Adrien held up the bag he'd swiped on the way out of the store. "Oh? Does this mean I get to see that button room everyone's teased me about?" Marinette raised an eyebrow, and he tightened his smile. "I have to save something for the second date, don't you think? To get you to come back?" "What? You think you're the one who has to worry about getting a second date in this conversation? Please." Adrien knew he should relish her response, but couldn't bring himself to do so. "Half an hour. You just have to act okay for half an hour, and it'll be over. You can go lay down with some album, swimming in the lyrics of another person's problems for as many hours as you need to feel okay again. You're close. You're so close, Agreste." "Adrien?" He'd forgotten to respond. What had she said? Oh, right. He gave her a chuckle, then handed her the bag with buttons. "You okay?" I think the food's hitting me. Glucose spike and all that." "Oh, I get that." She started stitching the arm as she glanced over the buttons. "You have good taste. You know that?" "I mean, it's basically my birthright at this point." "Right," she laughed, doing that little eye-roll headshake thing he found absolutely darling. "And here I thought you were just raised with money." "Money can't buy class," he said, "but it can buy piano lessons and a variety of private tutors." "And evenings playing with top designers' children as mommy and daddy discuss projects in the background." More like dinners where children are to be seen and not heard, but yeah, trickle-down experiences." She flashed him a smile, and he felt a bit more like himself. "Do you feel like you still have dreams?" "Like at night?" "I heard someone say that the dream is to still be able to have dreams as an adult. It made me think of you, Mr. CEO, who seemed to have almost everything, only to abandon it." Heat tugged at his heart, and Adrien knew he had to choose his next words carefully. "I didn't choose to abandon everything, Marinette. I chose survival over success and relationship politics." "You felt your relationships were political?" "I got tired of choosing my sentences with everyone but them, after all." Adrien jutted his chin at the Kwamis, napping with full bellies on their scraps pile as he kept stitching his bear. "You were going through the thick of it, and I had no idea. Marinette's voice wavered, the tone soft in a way that would make someone cry if her words asked them if they were okay. It happens. He tied a knot, then bit off the thread. Besides, I did a lot of masking. Scissors appeared in front of him, and Adrien looked up to Marinette wearing a half-smile and a shrug. Well, if this is bad timing, say something. May I take you on a date next weekend, Adrien Agreste? He took the scissors, guilt eating his stomach instead of excitement. Sure. Here he was, needing his date to cheer him up. Why couldn't he enjoy this like a normal person? Why did he have to count down the stitches until he could ask her to leave? What's wrong? How could he tell her? Adrien. Her change of tone made him straighten his posture without thinking about it. Yes. You look burnt out. Would you like me to leave? Well, this was embarrassing. That's not, He must have lost his touch when it came to masking emotions when he was away. Marinette set down her bear and opened her purse. Hold on, she said, circling around the table. To his surprise, she took him by the hand and stood him up, then led him out to the side room with a couch and a telly. Here, Marinette said, sitting down and taking him with her. She took earbuds out of a case, and he caught her hands halfway to his ears. Marinette? Yes? Marinette, you need a break. I get that. Here. Marinette, He couldn't form a sentence. I'm gonna put on a movie. Wanna cuddle? I've got a Taylor Swift album on shuffle, but I can change it if you'd like. He clutched his chest instead of pulling her close in a way that made him feel complete. She noticed. He hadn't said anything, and she noticed. Was that normal? Was that healthy? Marinette, he tried, shaking his head. How did you know? She bit her lip as she looked for a remote. Honestly, I probably wouldn't have had you not said something earlier. Earlier? At the apartment, and before we ate. You told me twice now you weren't feeling great, so I'm not surprised you're overwhelmed right now. Take some time to recharge. I'll leave if you want me to. He stared at her. Where did you learn this? I live with Alia Césaire. You think I don't need to leave the room or kick her out of the bedroom on occasion? I love her, but I also need to stim sometimes. So I can either put on an album or start a new pattern. Right. Yeah. It wasn't just him. Me too. Besides, my therapist told me I'm a bit of a bully when it comes to you, so we've been working on that. Your therapist thinks you're bullying me? It's a long story. And I got a therapist when you were away. She's 3 blocks over. In the green building with white trim? Yeah, why? That's my therapist, Marinette. She blinked. What? Jamaican lady with red frames and, super white teeth. And a manicure that makes you wonder if she needs help getting cards out of ATMs? They held eye contact, then started laughing. Wow, he said, shaking his head. What are the chances? Marinette laughed, leaning back onto his chest and tucked her head into his shoulder. Ooh, you have Disney Plus here.
I'm a multi-millionaire.
I'm not allowed to tease you about that while also reaping the benefits, am I?
Nope.
She panned through different options before settling on a 3D animation. Silencio Bruno!
Didn't we already watch this?
I watched it with... Marinette cut herself off, realizing. Yeah, we have.
I'm pretty sure I cried.
Yep. That's a good idea.
Let's watch it again.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Adrien slid his arm around her waist, adjusting how she pressed into him.
I'm sure.
Although he was sure she said something in response, Adrien tuned the world out as he closed his eyes, feeling himself begin to relax. Oh, he'd been on edge all week and not just today, hadn't he? Keeping his eyes closed, Adrien weaved his fingers through Marinette's hair, overwhelmed when he realized he had what he'd wanted. This was all he'd searched for, but never grasped. Whether or not it was worth the journey remained to be seen, but for now, this. Exhausted, Adrien Agreste fell asleep on the couch of his personal design studio, snuggled up with his date as she watched a movie. As emotional as the morning was for him, Adrien enjoyed the remains of a soft afternoon. The television was off when he opened his eyes again, memories of bleary slices of the movie Luca processing through his head. Marinette. He tried. Adrien's tongue didn't want to work. Blood rushed through his shoulder as she looked at him, also tender with sleep. His mouth couldn't flex sound into words now. Instead, he adjusted their entanglement, settling his chin atop her head. As emotional as the morning was for him, Adrien enjoyed the remains of a soft afternoon. As emotional as the morning was for him, Adrien enjoyed the softness of what this relationship became. Thank you so much for listening. Part 36 is on the way. In the meantime, you can check out these other videos for more Miraculous Ladybug Fanfiction, and if you're still listening, don't forget to not only subscribe and hit the bell for notifications, but leave a like and a comment to support the YouTube algorithm. If you aren't sure what to comment, put Adrien's softness. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!